What's up, everybody, and welcome to Wonders of Workshop. Today I'm going to be talking about what archetypes of cards I think are going to be in every single Wonders of the first set. So for those of you who don't know what I'm kind of talking about, in most card games there are types of cards that we see regularly. Removal cards, ramp, win conditions, protection of your own cards. Just something that says, get rid of this creature that you don't like. Something that allows you to gather more resources is ramp. And so there's a couple different types of things that I think are going to be in Wonders of the First every new set. And the first is removal. Very few card games do not have removal easily accessible to players. So if we look at like Blasting Duel, it should be loading up here. Right here you can see it says destroy target wonder. And so that literally just gets rid of a card that you don't want. Similarly, punish banishes target wonder that battled this round, and it's attuned, so it's a really nice card. Banishment is basically removing something from the game. There are a few cards, I think maybe those might have just been in playtests though, that can bring stuff back from banishment, but generally it's removal from the game versus going to the graveyard. And that's typically the two options that we'll see in removal: destroy or banish. Either it goes to the graveyard or it gets removed from the game. I would bet a decent amount of money that we will see removal of some variety. It will not be the same card because they said that they're not doing damn it, the word just bad word. The word just slipped my brain, the phrase, but they're not doing functional reprints. That's what I was trying to say. And so, I don't expect to see another card that says banish target wonder that battled this round. Anytime, or even anytime soon, and certainly hopefully not any time. And so removal is the first thing. The second thing I think we're going to see are buff cards. These are cards that are meant to make your cards bigger and better. Bigger than the next thing. I have used strength augmentation a lot, so y'all should be able to see that here. But there are several other cards. I see it most in green, but there's a couple of other options, like if I can spell correctly, I can show you Frostfire Citadel. Whenever Kingdom 3, whenever you draw your second card in a round, all your Tall Wind Wonders get +1 this round, so obviously you're making your Tall Wind Wonders bigger. That is a buff. I think, there's a lot to be said as well for ramp. Ramp is what I mentioned earlier in how can we make it so that you get more resources quickly. In Wonders, having more resources is one of the most important things. Because it is such a resource-intensive game, whether you have more actions are the most important, but whether you have more actions or more energy or more cards, whatever it is, those are important. More cards are going to be their own separate category, the next one. But there's ramp for actions and there's ramp for energy in Wonders. Cards like Thunder Crash Axe, that give you a free action or something with a tap-free ability like Rylan, and he's attuned. Like, these are all giving you action advantages by not requiring you to take actions to do other things, or they're giving you a free attack is basically a free action. You just have to choose to spend it to attack. Like, I think that we're going to continue to see free actions, things that give free attacks, and things that just give you more of an action economy and advantage. I think there's also a chance... I'm sorry, the dog is barking. There must be something. Hopefully y'all can't hear that. There's also things that give you like an energy advantage, like Gleaming Power Cell. I love this card. So it basically like helps you save energy from round to round. And you can run 3 of them, so you can have a lot of energy the next round. There's also a lot of people's favorite card, Moonfire Crystal Mouse. You sacrifice it for free, you draw 2 cards, and gain 2 energy. Like, that's a huge advantage sometimes, that you're getting 2 energy for free, and you're drawing 2 cards. I think that we are going to see cards that continue to provide people with energy advantage as well in future sets. Because, you know, cards that allow you to get any sort of advantage in resources are extremely helpful. Similarly, I call this archetype Draw. Moonfire Crystal Mouse is an example of the kind of card that I'm talking about. Getting you card draw. Card draw makes a world of difference in Wonders, because the faster you can go through the deck, the sooner you can find what you need. I really love, if I can type, Seer's Gaze. I use it in my main deck. Just draw a card for each untapped land you control. And it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. You typically get a lot of cards for either 1 or 2 energy. If you have a first or a try a land, it's a cheap spell with a lot of payoff. There's also, in Tall Wind, there's a lot of cards like Thought Tempest. Come on. There it is. Draw 3 cards, put a card from your hand onto the top of your deck. You can not only set up for Seeking within Tall Wind with this, but you're just getting 3 cards for 1 or 2 energy. Like, these are efficient ways to move through your deck, and having draw is something I expect to continue seeing for a long time. I think, you know, there's also always win condition cards. There's not a lot of cards in Wonders that specifically, I don't know if there's any that made it out of playtesting, that basically say you win the game if. But there are cards that can set you up for a big win, like Jarambe. If we look at what he does, tap action, destroy target stone. If this leaves play, banish it. Like, being able to destroy a stone that your opponent controls if you know you can't get it completely changes the balance of the game. And if you save that ability to use it until the end of the game, you could win the game with that ability. There's also, I am gonna butcher the spelling of Courageous, but it may still help allow me to find the card that I am looking for. Courageous Heart Emblem. Right here. On round 7, this gets attuned. If there are no enemies in this realm at the end of round 7, gain control of target stone here. So if your opponent just doesn't have a Wonder, you can literally just play this and win the game, because at the end of round 7, you gain control of target stone if they have no enemies. I have lost to this before. Sometimes you know it's coming and you still can't do anything about it. It just depends on, like, what everybody's seeing, what's going on. Do you know it's in somebody's hand? Do you not know it's in somebody's hand? How, there, you know, but there's just so many things and so many win cons and Wonders. Some of them require multiple card combos. Some of them are a little bit simpler. Play the card, hope it wins you the game. There's not as many, like, win cons in Wonders as there are in other games, obviously. The game is still growing. But also because a lot of this game, when you win, is because you set up everything really well. And so it's like you played the whole way through, and now you're good. You've set up with everything that you have going on to win. The dog has stopped barking, so I'm going to keep talking again, and hopefully y'all didn't have to listen to the majority of that. The last one is going to be protection. I expect that we're going to see some form of protection in most every set, if not all sets. We see a lot of it in the Existence set with the shield counter mechanic, like Gearheart, Enclave, Inner. gives out. It would help if I spelled enclave right. There it is. Whenever you play an item in this realm, you may put a shield counter on target wonder in this realm. Shield counters basically say next time damage or anything would be dealt to this, it doesn't happen, remove the shield counter. So shield counters are a huge protection mechanic. I think that we will continue to see them in new sets, but I also think that we'll just continue to see protection of all varieties. Azure Vault, we're going to see Azure Sky Citation in this search as well, I'm sure. Yep, there it is. But Azure Vault here, your lands and items not named Azure Vault can't be tapped, targeted, destroyed, nullified, or controlled by opponents or by opponents' cards. Like, it's a pretty powerful protective card. You are not messing with somebody's stuff when they've played Azure Vault. And so, you know, I just expect that there's going to be archetypes. Types of cards that are basic and powerful and needed for most decks that we're going to see in each set. I think we're going to see removal, we're going to see buffs, we're going to see ramp, we're going to see card draw, we're going to see win cons, and we're going to see protection. It just makes sense. There's not anything crazy that, like, any of these cards do other than win cons, obviously, but that's because they're win cons. And I think it's just going to be interesting to see how we see these cards and these basic kind of removal abilities or buff abilities or win cons change as the game evolves and we can't reprint abilities or cards. It's just going to be really interesting, and I'm excited to see how it goes. I'd love to know what y'all think. Like, is there a card type that I've missed that y'all think are going to be in every set? Just let me know. Please like, comment, subscribe, and as always, keep being your wonderful selves.